VTR. The right colour.
Hello sir, so
Hi.
you're interested in the C2?
Yep, we're after a new demo car for our car audio company, so we've had a look around, and the VTR is what we're after with a sensor drive, and it's the right colour as well, so I think this might just do us. Right, so now we've got the C2, we're going to take it back and strip it down. We're going to take everything out, and the main thing for this car is we're going to actually move this steering wheel to the centre of the vehicle and just put one seat in the car. And then we're going to rebuild the whole interior, make sure that all the stereo system sort of like cosmetically integrates. And then we're going to start on the outside, because the main thing in our industry is somebody will do a body kit, somebody will do an engine conversion, or we'll do an ICE install, but nobody's actually put the whole thing together. So hopefully this will be one of the first cars where we actually show everything from inside out, front to back. The reason we're going to do this car is, you know, as a company, SQ Plus is classed as one of the best in the industry, and I think to be there you need to keep the competition on their toes. So we're actually going to spend quite a lot of time in doing new things. It really just shows, you know, us as a company what we can do. We don't just fit radios into people's cars, you know, we actually rebuild the whole part of the car to incorporate it as if it would come from the factory. And you know, with what we're going to do in here, it's just going to showcase what we do as a company and how well we can do it. Right lads, let's get this stripped down to the chassis, so everything. Don't want to see any Citroen parts left on this car. Let's get it down to the shell. Right, that's going to go in the bin. Yeah, no problem. Off you go, bud. The bin, I said. Well, at the moment, I'm just looking at the steering rack assembly, and obviously because we've got to move that over, and we've got to cut the floor out so it's level, because obviously you've got the transmission tunnel or exhaust goes down the middle, but we've got to cut that out and give us a level playing field to relocate the pedals. At the moment, everything's looking good. Right, today what we're going to do is we're going to soundproof the car with Dynamat, and to show you the difference between something that is and something that isn't. So that's the resonance that an unsoundproof thing does, and as you can see, that's nice and quiet, and it also makes it sound better. So if we put this completely over the whole of the interior of the car, then we're going to get a lot better sound out of the speakers. First thing we've got to do though is take the exhaust off, cut the floor out here, cut the transmission tunnel out there, and get some plates welded in so we've got a foundation to build onto. So should we crack on with that? Okay, what I'm going to do in the back here is I'm going to cut this floor out here, and then we're going to weld up a box, and we're going to drop this box in, and then this will give us an extra area to put batteries for the system, a power supply. The compressor will go in here for the air suspension, and also a tank which will hold the air for the suspension to go up and down at shows. So basically we're going to mark all this out now. We're going to cut this out after we've got the exhaust off, and then we'll mark all the front out and cut the front out with a plasma cutter. So that's what we're going to do next. So I'm just going to make some measurements underneath. I didn't feel a thing. Right, we're going to cut this floor out so we can drop in these bits from Mr. Chili's drop shop. Now I'm understanding that this is the tank that's going to supply the reservoir of air for the struts to go up and down, and that can be mounted just in there any way.
Yep.
Okay, and also this is the compressor.
Yep.
So again, this can be mounted in.
Anyway, yeah.
So once we've got these two items in, is there anything else that you're going to put in the car, or can your stuff all go underneath?
Basically, I can. The only other thing that needs to go in there are the solenoids, the actuated solenoids.
Right. Okay.
And they can either be mounted up in the inner wheel arches, or they can be mounted underneath the car.
So basically, once we've got this mounted, we can come down to you and film the rest of it being put in. Okay, that's great, super. Right, Kit, these are the wheels that we've got, 20-inch. We've got the lowest profile, the 7.5-inch wide, so that should be pretty straightforward on getting them up. But where are they actually going to fit once you've done your bit?
Right, we're actually going to give it an 8-inch drop.
Right, so that's going to be on the floor.
The bottom of the car should sit basically on the floor.
Right.
So when it hits the show. What we're talking about there is, with that 25.5 inches, take that down to there. New centre of the wheel will actually sit about here.
Right, so we're going to end
The new
up...
centre of the hub will be here on an 8-inch drop.
So the actual... When it's slammed down, it'll end up there.
Like that.
And then when it's normal drive height, it'll come down.
Come down to here.
Right. That's going to look pretty good. Excellent, thank you. We'll put some extra thick metal on that area, brace it all up, and with a bit of luck, we should be okay. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to soundproof the vehicle fully, and then we're going to take it down to Mr. Chili's drop shop. He will do all the airbag suspension, he will cut the arches out, he will do any modifications that needs to be done to basically slam this car down on the floor. And then once he's done all those, it's left, as the car will not be changed from then on, we can then get in there and start building the audio system around all the modifications.
First thing we'll do is wipe the panel clean with acetone. Backing off the dynamic.
Right, we're going to take all these bits of metal that we've cut to size, we're going to form them into a box, and then we're going to obviously slide that box in the back of the car that we're in the big hole that we've cut out. That'll hold the battery and the suspension and all the bits and pieces for the airbag kit, and then we'll seam weld it all together and put it in permanently.
Yeah, Mr. Chili's drop shop is mainly an air suspension specialist. We produce, manufacture and install custom air suspension setups, allowing cars to dance.
The reason we've used Mr. Chili's is we've seen them quite a lot at shows that we go to with the car audio scene. And the reason we've used Mr. Chili's is that they really sort of like push the boundaries a little bit with, you know, everybody's doing hydraulics and airbag suspension, but the guys have got these new touchscreen controlling systems, and you can do it on remote control. So it's really the advantages of something new with these guys.
Over the last 3 or 4 years, we've worked on a lot of projects, culminating in last year's Max Power Car, the future Max Power Car. We've worked abroad, worked at land speed record teams, and it's grown to this.
Well, basically we've come here today to have the car pulled to pieces, the arches cut out so we can get the bigger wheels in that we've brought with us, and you know, they're going to supply and fit all their equipment. So hopefully by the end of the day, with the, you know, everything going with us, we should hopefully see the finished car.
Years, it used to be obviously the Hispanics who originally started doing the dancing cars using hydros. The air systems have been available for about 50 years, but only actually been used in the custom market for the last maybe 10.
Well, I'll tell you, just seeing what we've just seen there with it on the remote control and the touch screen and everything, and now the wheels are on it, I think it's going to be quite awesome. Just having it going up and down without all the other bits is just plenty for me. It looks superb. I'm really pleased. Okay, well, we got the car back from the suspension, and it's been a few months now, but we've done quite a lot of work, so if you want to come and take a look, I'll show you what we've been up to. So the main part of this project is the seat. As you can see, we've moved it to the centre, so we've obviously measured it, we've made a new framework up, so this will actually hold one occupant in the car. Now with the handbrake, which we've now removed, and the seat being on top of it, we've actually replaced it with a Select Products motor. This is very similar to some of the high-end prestige cars where you press a button on the dash, it'll actually put the handbrake on, press the same button and it will release the handbrake. So that will all be under the seat, all tucked away, and there'll be a button up on the dash. So that's the handbrake sorted. Then once this was in position, we then move on to the steering wheel. We've had to rebuild the whole of this section, weld in a new bulkhead, new supporting bar, got the steering wheel all positioned central, then move on to the pedals. Now with the pedals, with the brake and the accelerator, the brake being very crucial part of the car, we've strengthened all this area up, re-welded it, and everything now being in the middle of the car, it allows us to sit, hold the steering wheel and then plan out the rest of the equipment. And as you'll see with the panels that we're going to bring in a minute, it's beginning to come together. So with the seat in the right position, we could then alter the steering wheel and obviously move that from here over to the middle. The main thing with this is there's a lot of strengthening goes on, obviously to hold it in place. We had a bar that came down here, which mounted the steering wheel to the chassis. We spent 2 days modifying all this and getting it nice and strong to find that it was no good when we started placing the speakers. So we then had to put all this section in and spend another 2 days putting this in. So this is nice and solid now, and this is not going to go anywhere. So with the seat and the steering wheel in position, we can then move on to the pedals and the steering column. So we've moved the steering column in a position that it misses the accelerator. We then moved the accelerator and the brake over into the middle, which means we've had to rebuild the bulkhead and strengthen it, adjust the linkage onto the master cylinder. So that's all in position now, and I must say I think it's a bit stronger than what it was when it came out of the factory. Okay, so with all the metal work now completed, we can then get on to the fabrication of building the seat and all the other bits. So we've actually made some of these panels, so if we go and get them and put them in for you, you can take a look. As you can see from the amount of different products we've got here, there's a lot goes into the installation of this car, with different things from foam, wood, fiberglass, fillers, even right down to different materials and cloth that we actually use to form the shapes. And basically what we'll do is we'll put some panels in the car for you now and actually point out where these products actually go. Okay, so as you can see, we've started building the steering wheel. What we've done here is we've made our own shape, and the key to this is the 5.1 system. So this will actually be a steering wheel and the sensor channel for the sort of like the AV side of the install that we're going to do on this. Moving on to the seat, what we started off with on the seat, we had a company called Plastic Formers cut all this perspex for us. We're going to use these panels in the seat which are going to illuminate, but we use these to copy into wood. We then bonded all the wood together, and some of the tins I showed you earlier are actually on this. We've got the fine filler, the Duraglass, and bits of fiberglass which all hold it all together. Then on the speaker enclosures, as you can see from that one there, we've got the basics of what's going to hold the subwoofer in the mid. As you can see from this has been fiberglassed and completely finished, ready to take. Speaker. So with that in its place, and this one as well, we can then start doing covers. But what we'll do is we'll take that back into the woodwork room now, and we'll show you how we finish it off. So we've got 6 months left. It seems a long time, but I don't think it will be. But we'll crack on. We'll add little bits of metal to the car, get rid of the door handles, full body kit, and as you can see, empty interior needs to be filled with panels, which you've seen us do today. So I think we'll have quite a lot done next time you're here.
But to start off with, we'll take a piece of cardboard and we'll see, you know, transfer it to this shape and size we want for the skeleton. Once we get that somewhere near, we'll transfer it to wood and then start shaping it so it fits in perfect. As you can see on the other side there, I've already done that one. And I've already cut this piece out, which is the same as that, and then I'll just like I say, shape it into there, and when it's right, glue it in. On one cover, you're looking at, I've probably been on it 2 or 3 days so far.
Okay.
But it's just easier once you do one side to transfer it to the other and try and do it at the same time. It just makes it a lot easier.
Right, what we need to do on these is make sure that this cover is going to come out. So
Yeah.
I think these bits here we're going to have to bring right the way out,
Right.
rather than going tight up against this box here, because that's not going to let us go forward.
Yeah.
So we bring that one out further, and then we bring this one out to about here, and then go back. The whole thing should then pop out here,
Yeah.
which will let us, we'll take the seat out, and that should, obviously the amp rack's not going to be there, and then that should let us bring that cover out.
So how close do you want me to go there?
I'd give yourself a good couple of
Couple of
inches.
inches. Right.
And then basically, if it don't come out, then we'll have to cut it. Remember, we might have a port here as well, so we need
That's
to
right,
sort of
yeah.
like go up here
Yeah.
to there, and then keep this relatively clear.
Right.
But what I would do is I'll just bring a piece of wood down, so it'll let us stretch the cloth that way,
Right. Okay.
rather than it going straight
Yeah,
to there.
yeah.
Although even straight to there is probably not going to be a problem. But it'd be just nice to have a bit of a shape here.
Right.
And then on the front subs here, basically this is going to be a problem in the respect
Yeah.
that the cover's going to come round here, and we're going to have to bring it forward a little bit, then it's going to have to
Then
go
just
that
pull
way.
out, yeah.
And obviously that's kicking out a little bit, so the seat's not going to be in, so we'll bring that round here, so and we can bring it forward a little, the whole thing forward a little bit. What we're doing at the moment is we're going to start building the audio system. To do that, we need to get all the speakers in their own enclosures. So we've got the 10-inch sub here, which is in its own box. We've got the 6-inch mid above it, which again is in its own sealed enclosure, and then a 4. Once we've built these and they're actually fixed to the car, they don't need to come out again. So then we can start doing the covers over all these, which will come out, be painted, and then obviously go back in again. Now, to build the covers, we do a skeleton structure over all this, which I'm going to now show you on the other side of the car. So basically, to start this type of structure that we've got here, which is our skeleton, we'd cut our cardboard templates up. And then once you've got the right shape and you've got your nice curves and everything actually on the cardboard, you then transfer the cardboard over to your wood. And then once the wood's actually all in place and you've got your cross pieces, it actually gives you a stable structure then to staple cloth across, which we'll show you in the next stage. The reason this is so curved here is that we've actually got a nitrous bottle going in the door there. So we've got our speakers in place here. Again, these are fixed to the door, so they're nice and solid. We'll have the tweeter up here. So the next stage now on this is we actually stretch the cloth over. And I'm going to show you that now. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to staple on the cloth. So
You need to talk as you go along, really.
Okay.
What kind of cloth is that? And does it
this is actually acoustic cloth that we use on shelves and to cover speakers. And the reason we use this is it doesn't shrink, or like some fabrics that we've been using in the past, that you'll actually put the resin on and then they'll shrink and they'll start pulling the wood apart. So what we do with this one, it's very light. It gives us a basis to fiberglass and put matte and resin on afterwards. And as you will see, it stretches nice as well. So you can form quite nice, intricate shapes. On the sub boxes, when we did those, we actually use a thicker substance, which is acoustic carpet, and that soaks up loads and loads of resin and gives us a really rock hard finish. But again, on the doors, you need something a little bit lighter. Right, so as you can see from this door panel now, all the staples are in. We've masked up the speakers, and it's actually been painted with one coat of resin. And as you can see, it's quite even with just one coat, it's quite nice and solid. What this now gives us is a basis now to put matting and more resin and more matting and more resin, and then that'll give us a nice solid structure that we can then skim with fine filler, rub down, and it'll give us the finished panel like that one there. Right, these are some of the panels that are more or less in their finished stage. As you can see, this one here, this is the underneath of the steering column. So you've got the ignition barrel there. And this actually fits in, sort of like here, between the two big panels. And then we've got another section of this panel, which is the top section of that, and that fits in there, like that. So what this allows you to do is put both side panels in, and then fit this centre section in round the steering wheel, so it'll come apart, and it obviously makes it easier for servicing. And then on top of this structure here, we have the main pod that holds the screens and the radio, etc. And what we'll do is we'll get this all in the car and you'll see how it all fits. Right, the latest on the back is we're just about to make the covers around the sub boxes. As you've seen before, we've made separate boxes that will fit into the car and stay in the car. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make covers that will go over those sub boxes that we'll be able to remove and paint and put the airbrush design on and then put back in again. Also with covers as well, it lets you, remove them to service the equipment, and it makes life a lot easier than having to remove big sub boxes all the time. There's two reasons for putting a lot of layers of fiberglass on some of these panels. One is obviously to keep them as solid as possible, stop them vibrating with the amount of music that's going to be in there. The other one is we don't want them cracking or twisting or warping. So once they've actually been painted and the process has been done, hopefully they should go back in the car and fit exactly as they were made. Well, you've seen, we start off with a skeleton of wood, we then stretch some cloth over it, we then put resin on that cloth, that strengthens it. We then load 3 to 4 layers of really thick fiberglass matting on there. That gives us a really solid base to build onto. We then put a substance called Duraglass on there, which is a very fine paste fiberglass material from a company called 33 Hertz. And what that allows us to do is bring it nice and thick and give us a solid base, so we can then just grind that back, get it nice and smooth, put a bit of fine filler on there, and then pass it over to the painter and he can do his business. Right, as you can see now on this door, we've gone from the fabric that we stretched over and we resined. We've put 3 layers of fiberglass on, and then we've smeared the whole of the surface to try and start getting a nice shape with the Duraglass. We leave this on there for a couple of days. We then take it off, and we'll show you one in the workshop that we've actually started to rub down. This is the door. We've taken the panel off. You can just see the 2 rings there that hold the speaker. They've actually been bonded to the door, so when we actually screw the speakers on, it'll be nice and solid. But this is actually what's left after we've taken the panel off, which I'm going to show you. As you can see, this is one of the door panels that we've started to rub down. So we've got the Duraglass on there, and then we use this grinding with this special abrasive pad, which helps us take it down very quickly, and then we'll just go over it by hand. I'm not actually going to do this now because this does create quite a lot of dust. You need the mask, you need the fan on, etc. But once we've got it nicely smoothed off, we've gone over it with sandpaper, we'll do a bit of fine filling, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to cover the whole of this with what we call fine surface filler. So we've got the filler, got the hardener, just give that a quick mix together. Make sure it's nicely mixed. Obviously, well ventilated room is the best with this, so you don't get too many fumes. Now what this allows us to do now is build the shape up on the door and get it to how we want it. And then once it's all rubbed down, then we'll go over it with another fine surface. Now all we're doing now is we're just putting a nice even layer of fine surface filler on, trying to get some nice shapes to it as we do it. Which is just really to give you an idea. We'll rub that down, we'll keep building it up, and eventually the panels will look like the dash ones, which we'll show you now. Okay, so once we've got the fine surface filler all on it and it's all rubbed down, you'll just see there's bits of green here. This is the Rage Gold, and this is just the fine finishing compound that we use to fill all the little, little pit holes in and little gaps. So once it's all nicely smooth like that and like this, it's over to the painter.
Airbrushing I started at college, along with all the sort of normal art sort of background materials and bits and pieces that you'd use. Really liked airbrushing from there, and really have developed airbrushing as my sort of full-time career really. First car that I actually airbrushed was my own PT Cruiser, which you can see behind me, which was done in Harry Potter theme. So yeah, as a first-time car, very, very pleased with how things come out. Obviously I've used my bike sort of foundation. I do bikes and helmets extensively, so it wasn't as if it was my first attempt. It's a lot of experience gone into that car, just on a much wider and bigger scale really. Right, we've only got 2 days left now, so I'll get these wheels on.
basically drop it down, check the spaces are right,
Yeah.
and then sort the wiring out.
How long?
How long you need on that? Couple of weeks. You got 2, and then we'll get the panels in and get it to the show. Two days to go, and enough work for a week. A couple of sleepless nights, but it always gets done. Well, always gets done if some people put the time and effort in, unlike you who went home early last night.
I do apologise. I didn't think quarter to 11 was early.
Basically what that is a piece of glass with a hole in it that I tried to actually make bigger, and it didn't work. It shattered the glass. So now I need to find a smaller camera. Yeah, so we keep everything in here, keep it clean, and that's the steering wheel which we're going to go and put on now. It's got all the wiring for the lights in, and then once that's done we'll put the speaker in and the tweeter, and that's the centre channel for the cinema system. So let's go and get this in. Are we straight? Straight? That's down. No, that's up. That's just right there. I don't think we need to worry about changing. It's still tight there though, isn't it? Just, yeah, no, take it back up again, Neil. Because it's rubbing on there. But basically what this is doing now, this is, on the other side it's okay, because this is a fiberglass kit, although it's very well made by I.C.E Tuning, you know, we may have put it on and it might be slightly different. So one side's cleared it, but this side here, when it comes down, it's just rubbing on the rubber. Now obviously the car's not going to move when it's on the floor, but it just doesn't look right. So we'll just take 3mm off this inner edge here, and then when it comes down, it'll look perfect. On the where the wing mirrors used to be, we've mounted a camera. So this will actually come up on one of the fixed screens on the dash. So obviously while you're driving along, you'll be able to see. But the nice thing as well, when you're at a show now, this will actually, on the 2 screens there, will actually show everybody walking around the show, and people will be looking themselves and seeing themselves on the TV. So that should be quite a trick thing. The fuel filler cap is actually behind this light cluster, because on the normal car it's here, and it had really spoilt the look of the car to have a massive hole here and a recess. So basically, because we wanted it all smooth, to give Darren a nice blank canvas to paint on, we filled it all in and we've put it behind here. And this is just on a quick release, fill it up, pop it back in again. As you can see now, all 12 screens we've got working, so we know that the screens are fine, we know that the side screens are okay. Basically the music's all playing, subs are working, amps working, speakers are working. So now what we've done, we've checked all the wiring, we'll now strip it all out and we'll start putting all the panels in. So basically we'll just get some screwdrivers and start pulling the car apart. Okay, for the last 2 days we've been working non-stop, and I mean non-stop. We've had no sleep, none of us, and as you can see, car's more or less together now, so it's a case of polishing it, just fine-tuning a few little things, and then we're going to load it onto the trailer which is waiting outside, so that's the next job. Well, as you can see, it's finally on the trailer. It's been a long time coming, but now it's off to the NEC and max power.
C2 SQ Plus worth 107,000 quid. Sent to sea first in the United Kingdom. 15 grand's worth of pay by Darren Horton. Exhaust is out of the front bumpers. 10,000 watt system, 20-inch wheels, 16 valve NOZ. Situated wide body kit. Looking good, looking good.
Well, here we are at max power on the max power stand, and as you can see, we've just unveiled it, and at last it's all done, it's all finished. It's been a long time coming, but you know, we've done it now, and I'd like to thank all the guys that have helped me at I.C.E. Plus. Obviously, being a good installer, it's only as good as the team behind me, and they're great guys to have around me. So as you can see now, we're just going to enjoy the show and chill out for a while, so we'll see you soon.